Hi, I'm Michael Kwan with Beyond the Rhetoric. Today I'm going to be unboxing and doing a feature overview of the ZTE Grand X. It's the first smartphone from ZTE or ZTE that is being launched in Canada. They have sold some different kinds of products here, but this is the first time that they're having a smartphone in our country. The main characteristic or the main selling point for the Grand X is its low selling price. You can get it for free on a 2-year contract through Bell Mobility or outright for $149.95. It's meant to be a budget smartphone for people that are either coming from a feature phone or if you already have a smartphone and you just want to get something as cheap as possible. So it sells for $150. So before I unbox it, just running over some of the key specs. As I said, it's sold through Bell Mobility. It runs on a quad-core 1.2 gigahertz processor. I believe that's a MediaTek processor, so that's one way that they were able to cut some costs. There's 1 gig of RAM in there, as well as the microSD expansion slot. I'm not sure how much internal storage it actually has, and although it has the 5-inch display of some of the flagship phones that you see from bigger companies like Samsung and LG and Motorola, it is only a 720p display with the 5-inch size. So just quickly unboxing here, you can tell right away that it is more of a budget oriented device, even just based on the packaging. This is the kind of packaging that you would see more with the cheaper prepaid kind of pay-as-you-go phones that are typically under $100, but this is a full-fledged Android smartphone. I think it ships with Android 4.4.3 or maybe 4.3, oh right there. So it ships with Android 4.3, so don't expect it to necessarily get the latest updates getting into KitKat and Android L in the future. It may get some updates from ZTE, but I wouldn't have the biggest expectations there because it is a cheaper phone. So in terms of unboxing, yeah, so it is a cheaper looking phone, cheaper looking box just to begin with. Opening it up, I believe it comes in a couple of colors. This one is obviously the white version. I believe there's also a version with the black back. And you can see the 5-inch display across there, as well as the soft buttons down here for back, home, and for the menu. There is the 1 megapixel camera on the front for your selfies, and then the 5 megapixel camera on the back, as well as with the flash for your main pictures. And you can see that that's where the main speaker is, because I don't see any other ones around it. I would say that there's the microphone there. MicroSD standard for charging. I believe that would be the volume rocker, so that's on the left side there. Power button and a headset jack. And it looks almost like a sealed-ish package, but it really isn't, right? So then there is a definite bezel around the edge here around the screen. So the black and the white, there is a definite sense of separation there, which is kind of odd. I'm not really sure why they would do that, because it does feel a little strange. And it looks like I can take off the back cover. Let me do that quickly. Yeah, so that's what the inside there looks. So there's the space for the battery there, and I believe that's where your SIM card would go. I'm not really sure where oh, and then I guess the microSD card's over here. Oh no, that's for the microSD card, and that's for the SIM right there. So I'll just put that aside for now. Going through the rest of the box, you get your standard wall adapter USB charger with, trying to find the output there, it's 1 amp output, so a pretty standard smartphone charger. Typical micro USB charging cable, as well as the little tool, I guess, perhaps for releasing the SIM card, the micro SIM. And then there is the user guide running you through all the things that you'll need to know, as well as in French on the other side. And here is the battery. So that's the battery that goes with the phone there. Just open this up. And looking here, it says that it is a 2400 milliamp lithium ion battery, so that's a pretty good size for a smartphone of this size, especially since it is running on 720p. I'm not really sure how the power consumption of the MediaTek quad-core processor is, so that's something I'll be testing over the next little while, but you know, pretty obvious here to you put that battery in there, so it looks pretty slick. From there, I'm not entirely a fan of the cheaper plastic feel, but again, bearing in mind this is a $150 phone, so this would be the kind of device that would compete directly against something like the Moto G or the Moto G with LTE. That's actually something that's really worth pointing out, that this is a $150 device, so it is quite cheap, but you do have some sacrifices, obviously. So in terms of the performance, you still get a quad-core processor, but it is a MediaTek. There's only the 1 gig of RAM. You have the lower resolution camera. There's only a 5 megapixel on the back. And the other sacrifice, as well as not having NFC for your quick pairing, but does have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, of course. There is no LTE though, so you're stuck with what they call 4G HSPA, which is not really LTE. Is not compatible with the LTE network, which is what the Moto G with LTE would be able to provide you. So I guess this would be more on par with like the regular Moto G, which you can get for about $180 or so. So this is still cheaper, and it's an interesting way for ZTE to get into the Canadian market, because clearly they don't want to compete at the higher end against HTC and Samsung and LG. So by going down into the lower end with a phone that's $150 outright, if you're looking for a prepaid smartphone with Bell Mobility, this could be on your list of contenders just based on price alone. I'll be putting it through its paces, running the benchmarks, and seeing how well it holds up against both more expensive and similarly priced smartphones, and then the full written review will be going up on megatechnews.com shortly. So again, that is the ZTE Grand X, available through Bell Mobility. I am Michael Kwan for Beyond the Rhetoric. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and comment and like and all that good stuff on the YouTube channel. I'll have more great content coming up all the time. Thanks.